Hi, my name is Marco from Avio Presentation Systems. Today we're going to take you through a Clevertouch X5 webinar. I'm going to take you through different screen sharing features that we have on our Clevertouch X5, whether it's our wired or our wireless screen sharing. And I'm going to take you through different software that you get with the Clevertouch X5. So our Clevertouch X5 comes with a black bezel all around. It comes in 65, 75 and 86-inch sizing. The sizing is measured along the diagonal of the screen. We also get two 20-watt speakers with our X5. They're located at the bottom of the screen. They're front-facing speakers as well. We also get two magnetic pads, and we get two stylus pens that come with our Clevertouch display as well. Along the bottom right side of the screen, we have a few different inputs, like our Type-C input, our HDMI input, and our USB inputs as well. Along the back right side of the screen, we have some additional inputs like additional HDMI inputs, VGA, DisplayPort, and etc. Our Clevertouch X5 comes with this new interface. It's more of a googly updated interface. It's called the Lux Tiramisu interface here, where we have different apps on our home screen and we can swipe from the bottom of the screen up to find access to more of our applications that are downloaded on our Clevertouch X5. We can also change our interface to the traditional Clevertouch interface that has two side arrows and a bottom arrow with the blue background. We can also change it to an enterprise interface as well that would be suitable for meeting rooms and etc. To screen share our laptop to our Clevertouch X5, we can use a HDMI cable, for example. The HDMI cable can go in the front input. We can plug it into our laptop afterwards, and we can also use a touch cable, which would be a USB-A to USB-B cable that will give us that touch between our laptop and the screen when we're using a connection like our HDMI connection. We would also need to use that touch cable if we're using a connection like our DisplayPort and our VGA. If we're using a Type-C connection, it will actually charge our device while we're presenting on the screen. It will give us audio and visual from the laptop to the screen, and it will also give us that two-way touch without a need of using that additional touch cable. Another way of screen sharing is wirelessly through our app called Clevershare. So Clevershare is an app designed by the Clevertouch team. We have this little notch along the top of the screen. We can tap on our notch. We can tap and view the main interface to open up our Clevershare window on our Clevertouch. Afterwards, what we want to do is we want to download Clevershare onto our device. And we want to make sure we're connected to the same Wi-Fi or the same network that our Clevertouch screen is connected to as well. So as you can currently see, I have my 6 digits and it's telling me that I'm connected to Avio Wi-Fi. So I just want to make sure I'm connected to the same Wi-Fi on my own device as well. So I currently have my laptop here. I typed in the 6-digit code and now I get two options inside my Clevershare app. I get an option to screen share, which essentially will allow me to screen share my laptop up to the screen. I can accept the permission on my Clevertouch screen. I can also turn that permission mode on and off depending on my needs. And now I'm currently screen sharing my laptop up to the screen. I also get two-way touch between the laptop and the screen, which means that I can leave the laptop off to the side and I can use the Clevertouch display. I can use my laptop from the Clevertouch display itself, as you can see. We also have a small arrow at the bottom left side of our display when we're doing the wireless screen share, which actually allows us to bring in our Clevershare sharing into a smaller window that we can move around the screen and we can full screen it again. This could be useful if we're using a whiteboard on the screen, for example. We can also bring in an on-screen keyboard on the screen. We can also mute the volume or the audio coming from our laptop to the screen. So another great feature that we have here with Clevershare is that we can share up to 9 devices to our Clevertouch at the same time, which means that if we have a meeting with multiple colleagues in the meeting room that want to share their projects up from their laptop up to the screen, we can do that with, let's say, 4 or 5 devices, for example. It's also cross-platform, which means that you can download it on Android, you can download it on your Apple phones, for example, you can download it on Windows, Linux, and etc. Another feature that we have inside Clevershare is called Desktop Sync. So Desktop Sync will allow me to share my Clevertouch screen up to my laptop. So as you can currently see, I'm sharing my Clevertouch display up to my laptop. Another great feature in here is that we're able to tap into our Clevershare app. We're able to see the devices that are currently connected up to the display, and we can enable this touch. What that's going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to use my Clevertouch screen from my own laptop. As you can currently see, I'm not touching the screen and I'm able to use it from my own laptop. So Clevershare is a very versatile app. You can do both screen sharing and desktop sync on the app. It's very useful in classrooms where we have multiple students and we want them to interact with the screen. That was our Clevershare. That's how we do our wireless screen sharing on the board. Another few different softwares that we have with our Clevertouch X5 is the CleverLive app. So CleverLive is a digital signage software that comes with no ongoing cost or no subscription costs. You're able to design different messages or different announcements, maybe different signage on the CleverLive website, and you're able to push out your digital signage to the screen when it's not in use. So it could be useful for welcome messages, maybe on the screen if you have it in a meeting room, for example. Once the customer comes in, they can see a welcome message. You can just tap on the screen and you can use the screen then afterwards for your meeting. Another useful feature with CleverLive is, let's say in future you decide to get Clevertouch digital signage. Let's say you decide to get your Seal Pro digital signage displays. You're able to connect your Clevertouch X5 digital signage with your other digital signage display all to the same account, and you're able to choose which presentations you want to push out to which display. Another great software that we get with our Clevertouch X5 is our Lynx whiteboard. Depending on your needs, sometimes we advise customers to run the Lynx whiteboard from their laptop and share it up to the screen via HDMI. You're also able to run the Lynx whiteboard on the Clevertouch 5 itself. We can make a free Lynx whiteboard account from lynxcloud.app website, and we can connect it to our Google Drive or our OneDrive, where we're able to bring in any sort of files into the Lynx whiteboard. Afterwards, I can tap on New to open up a new whiteboard file. Along the bottom left side of the screen, we have our different pages, so we have 1/1. Along the bottom middle of the screen, we have our finger pointer tool that will allow us to pick different features on the screen. Next to that, we have a pen, so we have a lot of different pens that we're able to use on our Lynx whiteboard. We can use the likes of an ink pen, for example. We can resize it and start using it on our screen. We can use pens like our highlighter as well, for example, so we can highlight different features on the screen as well. We can use a laser pen. Laser pen will disappear after a few seconds on the screen, so very useful. And we can use likes of an animated rainbow, for example, or a rainbow tool that's going to change anytime we lift our pen or our finger off the screen. Next to that, we have a T letter. The T letter will allow us to type on the screen using our keyboard, as you can see, and we can move that writing around. We can change the font and we can resize it. We also have a paint pot that will allow us to change the color of different lines on the screen, or it will also allow us to change the color of the background, for example. And then one of the biggest features on our Lynx whiteboard is the plus icon. The plus icon will allow us to bring in different content from different online sources. So for example, we can go into media and we can look at different sources from Google, YouTube, and etc. Now this is all safe search and all the YouTube videos are cleared of ads. So let's say we're learning about Croatia, we're learning about different countries. We can look that up. And we can drag and drop different pictures of Croatia, or let's say of the map of Croatia on the screen. We can resize it and we can move it around, and then we can annotate over those pictures as well if we wish to do so. It's the same with our YouTube videos. So our YouTube videos are going to be cleansed of ads. We're able to show them on the screen with no ads. We also have content. Content will allow us to bring in different backgrounds onto the screen, or different objects for different subjects. So if I go onto my content, I'm able to go on my backgrounds, and I'm able to go on my line paper, and I can drag and drop different backgrounds onto my screen. In here, I can also go into geography, just for example, and I'm able to drag and drop different objects for geography, maths, and etc. We can also bring in different rulers for maths, different teaching tools that we can bring onto the screen. Another great feature is our browse option, so we are able to browse different files. So for example, if I go into my Google Drive, since I already connected it to my Lynx account, I'm able to bring in any sort of files into my whiteboard. So in this instance, I have my PDF file, so I'm able to bring in a PDF file onto my screen. I'm able to annotate around different pages of that PDF file as well, and use my highlighter or my pen to write over that PDF file too. Along the bottom right side of the screen, we also have an undo and a redo feature, which will allow us to undo anything on the screen. Lynx Whiteboard also comes with a pro feature that will give you access to some AI tools that will allow you to create different lessons using AI. Once we're done using the links whiteboard, we can save that file easily onto our Google Drive, our OneDrive, or our local storage of the display. And we're also able to share that file to our students or our colleagues via a QR code. And we're also able to print that file if we have a printer connected or linked to our Clevertouch and our links whiteboard. So I'm going to take you through a few more features that we have here inside our Clevertouch X5. We have access to a Finder, so our Clevertouch X5 comes with 64 gigabytes of local storage. So in here we have our storage options and we have our cloud drive options where we can actually connect a cloud drive directly to the screen itself. We also get access to a Google Play Store. So our Clevertouch X5 is Google EDLA certified, which means that we get access to thousands of different apps from the Google Play Store. So we can download our apps like Netflix, which many teachers like to do, Amazon Prime, and any sort of educational games that we might want to bring onto the screen. I'm just going to go back into the Finder and just show you some of the features that we have inside our pencil icon here on the side. So in here, we have a few different features like our arrow that's going to take you back out of our different things. We have our HDMI icon that's going to show us our different inputs that we have on the screen where we're able to change the brightness of the screen and the volume of the display as well. We also have our whiteboard icon that's going to take us to the whiteboard of the screen. Under that, we have a little pencil icon that's actually going to freeze our screen. And we're able to annotate over that screen freeze. We're able to use our highlighter to highlight different things on the screen too. And then we're able to share that screen snip with our annotations to our colleagues or our students, and we're able to upload it to our cloud drive as well or save it onto our local storage of the display too. We have a snowflake icon that's going to allow us to freeze the screen. We also have a magnifying glass with a plus sign that's going to freeze our screen again, and it will allow me to zoom into different parts of the screen. Under that, I have a snipping tool. The snipping tool will allow me to snip different parts of the screen, and I can use the insert icon then afterwards to bring that snip into my whiteboard. And then in here, I have some spanner tools like our spotlight where we can place it on the screen, our timer, and our stopwatch as well. So again, very useful for different activities that we might be doing in class. If we want to put in a timer for 5 minutes, we're able to do so on the screen and keep track of it as well. Now, before we finish up, some useful settings that we have on our X5. So I'm going to take you through them now. Inside our X5, obviously the screen comes with a Wi-Fi or LAN capability, so you are able to connect it to your network there. We have different Bluetooth settings here as well, so you are able to connect an X5 to an external Bluetooth speaker, for example, or a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard if you wish to do so. Here we have our different apps, so we can give different permissions to different apps. Very important on the screen when certain apps want to access our files, we have to give them those permissions. In here we have our different notifications. So this is very important as this is essentially like a really big tablet. So notifications will pop up from different apps. So in here you can control your notifications. You can also swipe from the bottom of the screen down to have access to different things like your screen recorder and to see your different notifications from your apps there on the right hand side. You have your storage, so as I mentioned, it does come with 64 gigabytes of local storage. We have our different sound settings as well, where we can change the sound type and etc. We have our different display settings here, so this would be our brightness and our themes on the screen. We have our wallpaper here too, so we're able to change the wallpaper on the screen. We're able to change the theme of the screen to a darker theme as well, maybe perhaps if that's something that customers might be interested in. We have different accessibility settings. So there's an accessibility menu as well. So very useful for people maybe with special needs. There's different passwords and accounts here as well. So we're able to set password onto our screen if we wish to do so. And then along the bottom, there's advanced settings too. So advanced settings will allow us to change the input and output names of our HDMI cables, for example, and etc. It will also allow us to change the default home app. So that would be our interface. If we want to change it, we can use the default home app option, and we can change that to for example, Looks for Education, which would be our traditional Clevertouch interface. We can also change what the power button does, whether it puts it into standby or whether it turns off the screen straight away. And there's also some startup and shutdown settings. Startup and shutdown settings are very useful, especially for energy saving. So we can get the screen to turn on, let's say automatically at 8:45 in the morning, Monday to Friday, and we can get it to turn off automatically, let's say for example, at 3 p.m. Monday to Friday as well. That way, if the teacher forgets to turn off the screen, the screen will automatically turn off itself. Okay, so very useful for our energy savings. At the bottom of that menu, we can also change the default whiteboard of our Clevertouch, which means that that's the default whiteboard of the screen. That's the default whiteboard that our screen will take us into whenever we're inserting snips, for example, into our whiteboard. So I currently have it set as the links whiteboard for me. Then we have some usual admin settings, and then we have some system settings there at the bottom left side as well that will allow us to change the different languages on the screen, keyboard, and etc. And it will also allow us to check for any system updates there as well if we need to run any updates on our Clevertouch X5. That's our webinar for the Clevertouch X5. I took you through some of the features that it comes with. If you guys are interested in purchasing an X5 or arranging a demonstration with me, feel free to contact us on 01813 5588. Or if you'd like to book a demonstration and maybe send an email over, you can also contact us on sales@avio.ie. Thank you.